I am Carl Edvard Tommy Slim Borgut, a man who lived two dreams, the roar of Formula One, engines, and the rhythm of world-famous pop music. Born in Sweden in 1946, my life has always danced to a beat, sometimes from a drumstick, sometimes from the throttle of a race car. In my early years, music was my first love. I started out playing jazz and rock, cutting my teeth in small bands and smoky clubs. I wasn't just any drummer. I had feel, timing, intuition. That led me to session work in Stockholm. And soon I was drumming alongside some of Sweden's top musicians. One of them was a little pop group called ABBA, before the world knew their name. I played on some of their early tracks, joined them on tour, and helped shape that clean, punchy rhythm the world would come to adore. The energy of performance, the pulse of thousands dancing to the same beat. I lived for it. But while the world saw me as a drummer, I harbored another passion: racing. Even while I toured or recorded, I was sneaking off to drive in Formula Ford and Formula 3 events. I built cars. I studied telemetry. I obsessed over corners and tire wear like others studied drum fills. People called me crazy. You can't do both, they said. But I didn't want to choose. In 1981, I shocked the world and entered Formula One with the tiny ATS team. Money was tight. I needed attention. So I slapped the ABBA logo on my car, not because they sponsored me, they didn't, but because it made people look twice. That was enough to keep the cameras rolling. At the British Grand Prix, I scored an unbelievable sixth-place finish, earning my first championship point. It wasn't just a personal victory, it was a statement. A drummer could run with the fastest drivers on earth. I joined Tyrrell in 1982 alongside Michele Alboreto, but the car wasn't competitive. I knew my F1 journey wouldn't last long, but that didn't stop me. I kept racing, touring cars, endurance, even truck racing, where I would go on to become a European truck racing champion. I raced not for fame, but because I loved the science, the strategy, the split-second decisions that separated champions from wreckage. Even off-track, I stayed active. I worked as a consultant for teams, a coach for young drivers, and explored the spiritual side of performance, the connection between mental clarity, rhythm, and elite results. I always said driving and drumming were the same at their core. Both demand rhythm, focus, and complete surrender to the moment. In 2023, I passed away at 76, but my story remains one of a kind. I am Slim Borgut, the only man to drum for ABBA and race in Formula One. I refuse to be one thing. I refuse to fit a mold. And I hope my story reminds you. You don't have to pick just one dream. Sometimes the best lives are lived in stereo.